We are each given a specific amount of time on this earth to do what we need to do with that time. But unfortunately, people take that time and they waste it on things that are an absolute waste of time. They put all their energy towards things that are absolutely useless and meaningless and just absolute nonsensical insanity, like sporting events, how much energy is exerted on baseball and football and basketball. All of these things that make no sense whatsoever, and they don't contribute towards the beneficial production of any aspect of your life. I mean, unless you're gambling on it, you're making tons of money, but still, I mean, that's not a benefit because that money is coming from a real dirty place. The energy of gambling unto itself is not a good signature. So, in that sense, you're actually not producing anything. You're just actually lowering your vibration because you're given a certain amount of time to do something with this energy of a productive nature. But people just waste their lives with this stuff. It's such a shame. I see it constantly, and sports seems to be a real big one at the top. You see them so much fervor, so much passion, just focused on this stuff. You're talking about a baseball player that makes $450 million in 10 years, and we have more homeless people in the street than ever before. Just what I can't wrap my head around. And you see these people could care less about these homeless people, but they're cheering for their team, and they get upset when they don't win, and they take it personally, start screaming at the television or whatever it is. It just goes to show you why it's so easy to control people. Because the Romans did it to their own kind. That's why I say, ever the precautionary tale of bread and circuses. Look it up. Bread and circuses. It's a paradigm that's run on the people. Because why do you think fast food's so cheap? Why do you think health food is so expensive? Why do you think they have a plethora of sporting events? Baseball, basketball, football, hockey, on and on. To distract you. The fast food is cheap, so that makes you morbidly obese. Because when you take a sedentary lifestyle with overeating, that equals morbid obesity. So you're too fat to fight, and you're too dumbed down to realize what's going on because you're so focused on these ridiculous, gladiatorial games. And where does that leave you? Look at all the people that go to these football events and these baseball games. They're just cheering for something that they don't realize what the nucleus of that comes from and how it all actually started. This is how they keep the masses mesmerized and hypnotized instead of you actually doing something with your time of a productive nature and taking that energy and using it wisely. But when you take your time and you put it on things that are an absolute waste of time, you absolutely create nothing of a substantial nature that's beneficial to you or anybody else. And this video, I hope it gets to make you realize that truth. Because you're not here forever. And you're certainly not here to be cheering on a football team your whole life and putting so much energy into it. But then again, these are very low dimensional creatures. Anybody of a high dimensional nature will not be doing this kind of stuff because they're going to be doing things that are beneficial for themselves, the earth, humanity, and all of God's creatures, not just themselves. And that is what high dimensional beings do. They realize, what this place actually is. It's just a hologram. But when you're low dimensional, you see it as the only life there is. So that's why they get so sucked into this stuff. When I was a kid, I thought this was real, and everything that I was told was the truth, and everything you're taught is the only information that is veritable and genuine and honest, and the whole nine yards. It's not that you buy into it hook, line, and sinker. You're forced into it, with chains and barricades and bars because you're basically imprisoned in this stuff. So to see them waste such energy and such fervor and such concentrated force and their team has to win, it's all meaningless nonsense. It's all nonsense. That's why sports is like a multi-trillion-dollar a year industry because as much as they make on the advertising, they make on the gambling, And you could see it. And then you wonder why we are where we are right now at this particular confluence in human history. And if you look back through the annals of time, through human history, you'll see that this paradigm always repeats itself. It never changes because people don't change. So therefore, there's no need to change the paradigm. Just modify it to look pretty and new, packaged inside of technology, and you're ready to go. and they buy into it every time. That's why every 4 years, what do? You think that your vote counts and you go out and I'm going to make change. Then if somebody doesn't vote, well, you have no right to complain because you didn't vote. I remember when George Carlin said it best. He says, no, that's actually not the truth, because you voted into a system that's going to all freaking subjugate us, and I chose to opt out of it. You're actually the one that's making it worse because you're deciding to vote. You're buying into this lie because your vote doesn't mean anything. These individuals have been selected by the deep state long before you were born, not elected by the people. It's just the truth, because you keep getting the same characters all the time, and you're told, well, it's the lesser of two evils. No such thing. It's actually two wings of the same bird. But nonetheless, I digress. But then again, I don't, because that's also a monumental waste of time. I got sucked into that thing 4 years ago, and the first time that I voted was in 2000. That was a cluster. I can't even say the word. With the ballot boxes missing and hanging chads, and I was like, oh my God, this is so obviously ridiculous. It's not even funny. Then 4 years he won again. I was like, oh Jesus, this is ridiculous. And then this whole fiasco 4 years ago, it was just ridiculous. I mean, and unfortunately people don't have the intellect to pull them out of this paradigm. That's the whole purpose of my videos, to make you realize, look, man, they're lying to you. This isn't my belief or my opinion or my thought or my suspicion or a hunch I'm going on. This is a straight out cold, hard truth. And this is how they mesmerize you and get you to waste your time, your attention, your effort, and your energy by concentrating, focusing on things that are garbage. They're meaningless. And people have such passion. If you look at English Premier League, back years ago, people used to kill each other in those stadiums. There would be murders outside the stadiums because the English team lost. And whatever the visiting team was, those fans would pay the price with their life over a freaking game, just to go and show you how insane people are. And because they're so level, their level of intelligence is so low, they're easily controllable. That's why I always advocate self-sufficiency, proactive, autonomous intelligence, to break away from that system. Because that system is just going to do more of the same. It's never going to stop. It's a machine. It's a machine. And it's not going to stop. And it'll just barrel roll right over you, because these are war machines you're talking about. So I advocate myself putting my time towards things that are beneficial. The attention, the effort, the energy, my concentration, my focus on things that can actually move me forward. Not that are going to keep continually pulling me down, like sports and all of that waste of time nonsense. It's good to have fun once in a while, but if you dedicate your whole life to something like this, it's crazy. And these people have such fervor. I mean, I've never seen the lunacy in it. They'll sit and watch a game for 3 hours and scream at the television as if they have a vested interest in the game, money-wise, because their intelligence can't allow them to peak beyond that ceiling that they're incarcerated in. And that is what the third dimension does. It won't let you break that barrier. And you have to do it with love. You don't do it with aggression. You ascend with high vibrational love. You don't do it with fists and knives and guns. You most certainly don't do that. But anyway, I've gone on long enough. But this is just the state of the situation that we're currently experiencing in the world right now. And it's been that way for quite a while, because the Romans have been doing it for thousands of years. And the paradigm just crosses over into a new society and a new system. But everything generally stays the same. It's just packaged in a different way. But it'll continue to stay the same as long as people keep buying into it. And when the day comes when they don't, that's when it's going to collapse. Until that time, the beat just keeps moving on, man. The beat goes on.